Well, I'm Alan Dale from Gale Force Winds, and what a day I'm having here with the Association of Allied Health Professionals. And this is the We Are Here podcast, and I want to tell you, good people doing good work for the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And on that note, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
My name is Tobin. I'm one of the speech-language pathologists at the hospital in Clarenville, Dr. G.B. Cross Memorial Hospital. I'm also the VP Rural for the Association of Allied Health Professionals. However, I am stepping down after this BGM, after 19 years.
Wow. So, okay, let's talk about your leadership role.
Sure.
Talk to me about the importance of that for you, being in the leadership role there, bringing the conversation to the forefront. Talk to me about that first.
I think in a leadership role, you have to be very passionate and dedicated about what you do and to put the betterment of your members in the forefront. Mm-hmm. So I've taken that role very seriously. In the rural position especially, because outside the overpass, things are very different than in the city. And we have different issues, I'll say, and situations that come up in comparison to people who live in St. John's. Not to say that St. John's is a bad thing. It's just our clients and patients and residents have different issues than we experience here. The travel alone to different facilities is overwhelming at times, and it brings up different challenges.
You know, what would be the one thing that you would tell Newfoundlanders and Labradorians about allied health professionals? What would that one thing that they should understand about them?
Allied health professionals are people who really care. We help people, and it's our life work. We take it very seriously. We have a lot of compassion. And I think that many people don't realize what we do. I think this is a great method to get the message out there.
Bonnie, talk to me about what you specifically do. Talk to me about your profession. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I have one of the best professions ever. I may get emotional because I have 1 year before I retire, and I'm a speech pathologist, and I've learned so much throughout my career, but I also realize how many people I've helped. Mm-hmm. I help people communicate more effectively, but I also help people who have swallowing issues. A vast array of populations, preschool, geriatric population, adults, and I've seen the glimmer in their eye when I've helped them. Not only eat safely, but to be able to tell their loved ones that they love them. And it's meant the world to me.
It's one of those jobs where I think you probably get back more than you give every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a year to go, you've got experience behind you. You've probably seen a lot in the healthcare system in Newfoundland and Labrador. What are some of the challenges you see right now in the system?
I've seen the system when it was working as a well-oiled machine years ago. I don't see that now. I see many times I feel we're treating beds and not people, and it cuts me to the core, frankly. It makes me emotional because that's not who I am as a professional. I considered staying working later than next May, but with everything that's happening, I don't think I can do it for my own personal reasons, just for my own health. Just can't do it. And I have brought these issues to the forefront, but many times it's just in a system that's crumbling. So it's not very helpful. It falls on deaf ears many times.
You know, I know that in your profession and your colleagues, you are solution providers. You sort of find the pathway to get to an end state. Where do you see some of the opportunities right now in the healthcare? Like if you could wave a magic wand and say, we can do these things, what are some of the opportunities that you see?
I see several ways it can improve and solution-based answers. One would be to increase long-term care beds or create them. One would be to add new positions to reduce wait times. When we see children for preschool who have to wait 2 years to be seen, that's not early intervention. You know, how can you help them when you're not seeing them till they're 3, when they've been referred at birth or at 1 year of age? It's not helpful. You give suggestions to parents, but your hands are tied. You're working in a system that isn't promoting early intervention. So it's an inner conflict constantly about how to provide the service efficiently and effectively in that kind of a system.
Bonnie, if you were able to have an audience with the decision makers and the policy makers right now, what would the one thing you would say to them that pay attention, this is the one thing you should know about the Association of Allied Health Professionals? What would it be?
I would say consult the frontline staff. They know what the answers are. They've been there. They work there day to day. They're in the trenches. They know what things can help make things better, but we're not consulted many times. So that would be the thing I would say.
If you reflect back on your journey, your career, what was your happiest memory? Can you think of that?
Well, I can tell you one thing that really sticks to me to this day. I had a gentleman on my caseload who had laryngeal cancer. He had a laryngectomy, so his voice box was removed. And when I was seeing him, I was pregnant with my first child. And that was when you just got 6 months for maternity leave. So it was about time for me to go back to work. And I was so upset that I couldn't stay home with my child, my first child. And the day before I went back to work, this man called me on the phone. Prior to this, he had been learning how to speak on burps. That's how I was teaching him how to talk. It was called esophageal speech. But he was planning to have some kind of procedure done to allow his esophagus and trachea be connected. It's called a tracheoesophageal puncture. And he had that procedure done, and he could then talk on the phone. So he called me at home and spoke to me. And I realized in that moment, this is why I'm working. It kind of solidified for me why I was going back to work and that it was meant to be, you know? Even though I felt such emotional pull to stay home, I knew I had to go back.
What are you going to miss the most?
The human connection. Yeah, not only with my clients and my patients and residents, because we see the whole gamut from preschool, patients, inpatients, and long-term care. So we do everything. So we can't specialize in one thing, we specialize in everything. I'm gonna miss those people, but I'm also gonna miss my colleagues, having a regular network to be part of, because I'm a social being and I require that to feel good.
Well, this is what making Newfoundland and Labrador better every single day that you go to work. This is what it looks like. Thank you.
Thank you.